Hey everybody, it's Strict9 with Strict9 GP, and it's time to get going with the Out of the Park 22 playthrough. I've held off as long as I could. Really excited to get started. If you made it this far, you saw the title, you know the team I've chosen, the San Francisco Giants. I mentioned them in a first look video, season like sim I went through just to test the game. There's a lot that I like about this team. The way they're set up here in the game. If you look at the way out of the park baseball, the way they're scouted, rated, however you want to look at it, there is a lot of challenge with this team, but there's also a lot of upside. And on the financial side, the salary side. So that's kind of why I chose them. And I'm really hoping this is going to be a quick turnaround. I do think it's going to be a quick rebuild. As for the Giants, they're a West Coast team. I've admired them. I followed them really closely during that 2014 season. You look at the run they had from 2010 to 2014. I mean, they were one of the best franchises in baseball. I really loved the way they built that core unit and kept them together for several seasons, had a good staff, all those things that really mean a lot to winning consistently. And so that's what I'd like to do here, but I'd like to do it pretty soon. But like I say, one of the things I wanted to warn you about, if you're a Giants fan, I know there's going to be a lot of favorites on this team, guys who've been with the team and really been a big part of the success of this team for a while that I'm going to have to get rid of, I think, to move forward. So that's going to be one of the most evident things about it. I think if you take over this team and you really want to win, that you're almost going to have to. But I wanted to spend a lot of this episode going over the team, looking at where they're at as I've taken them over, and then I would like to sim through maybe the first month of the season just to see what we're up against, to see if there's any chance we can compete. I don't foresee that, but let's get going. First off, I'm from my manager home screen, and I always like to point this out. I've got a 27-inch monitor. I know if you're watching on YouTube on a smaller screen, it may not translate that well. I hope it does, but I love having this 3x4 grid. You can always change that, though, here in the settings. You can change the rows, go to 2, 3, 4, 5, as big as your monitor is, I guess. But I like having a lot of these things here when you first log in at a glance. And I wanted to go over a few things just to start out. The first thing that's really evident to me of what makes this team such a challenge is on the team position rankings. There is only one player on this team, and this is ranked against every other major league team. There is only one player on this team who's considered top 10 at his position, and that's Mike Yastrzemski at right field. He's rated really highly. He had a good season last year, really productive season in that shortened 2020. But he's it. And even when you consider Mike Yastrzemski, hopefully with the bloodline there, maybe it'll translate here for him and he'll have a long career. But he's already 30. And he's only had one, combined really just one full season in the majors. And so I don't know how long he's going to be this productive, but that's it. And you've got some guys like the closer, Tyler Rogers. I mean, our bullpen and pitching is really decimated. You got guys in the bottom third, not a lot, but several positions here in the bottom third. So that's going to be tough to be competitive with that lineup. The top prospects, another thing. We've got a good prospect here in Luciano. He's currently 12th in the prospects top 100 from OSA. I think there's some good upside with this guy. He's rated at third. I hope his defense position ratings improves a little bit, but I do like where his potential ratings are. It fits the style I like, which is really high contact and the ability to get on base, not strike out a lot. You throw in the power. That's to me, I've never been too interested in guys that are going to hit 50 home runs year after year, but I do like the makeup of this guy. So I'm hoping he will be somebody who, being at high A already, I'm hoping that he might be somebody who, within 3 seasons, gets a shot at the majors and maybe starts contributing. But he's really the only one. So we're even really, I think, struggling on the prospect side. If you looked at our minor league farm system, they've got us right at the middle, 15th. I don't know if I would say that we're that good. And this, this only, I think, goes by how many players you've got in the top 100 and where they show up, I think is how this is calculated. So I wouldn't put a whole lot of stock in that. If I looked at the whole minors, I'm only looking at a few. And I've got a short list here that kind of gives you an idea of what I'm talking about. These are the prospects that I have highlighted as the best prospects at every level on this team, starting at AAA, going all the way down to the rookie leagues. You don't have a whole lot, and our scout is maybe a decent scout. I don't know how much I want to trust his ratings, but a lot of 2.5 guys, a lot of 2.5 star guys here. I don't know if that's going to, be a little bit better, if these guys are going to develop or not. But we don't really have any superstar in the making. So those are the two things that really stand out about this team from a current talent standpoint. We don't have a true superstar type player in the pipeline, and we don't have, when you go back to that position rankings, we don't have a true superstar at any position on this team. So we don't really have anybody we can build around, like a Mike Trout, or, pick your player, really. I would like to be able to get that, but I just don't know if I'll be able to. I don't think I'll be able to develop it. And just a quick word, too, while we're talking about that. If you've watched my playthroughs before, I'm pretty conservative. I'd much rather build a team through draft and minor league development than I would through free agency and trades. I will do trades, usually one-on-one trades. I don't like to do a lot of multiplayer trades. And I'm pretty conservative even when trades go. I usually just shop the player around and take the best offer, or what I feel like is the best offer for who I'm trading, because I think, you can adjust the trading difficulty, I know, but I still think there's some room there to kind of game the AI, and it's easy to get like a Mike Trout if you just kind of do some fiddling around with the settings, or the offers that you keep throwing out there until you just find the one that the AI happens to take on. So I'm really usually hesitant to go that route. I'd rather do drafting and moving guys up that way. But I think with this team, it's what makes it kind of a unique challenge for me, and why I went with it is because here's an opportunity to kind of move away from that a little bit and really look at free agency, because the other thing that I'll look at before we get started with, I might look at a couple things, but I wanted to highlight the salaries for this team and what it's looking like going forward after this year. You've got a lot of aging veterans who are coming off their contract years, and as a GM for this team, man, you just have to be in a, you have to like what you're going to be handed. As long as you don't have an owner who just goes crazy in the off season and turns off the money. But we're potentially going to have, it might even be close to $100 million to play around with in free agency when all is said and done. We've got 3 guys here right off the bat who have team options for next year that I'm 100% sure I'm not going to take on. And those 3, it's like almost $60 million. And then you've got Gossman, Belt, Crawford. That's another $50 million in salary that's going to come off. And then you've got guys like DeSclafani, Sanchez, Solano, Alex Wood. These are guys who, unless they have a pretty decent season this year and you can kind of justify re-signing him as, like in the case of Sanchez or Wood, as like your fourth or fifth starters at a low, 3 to 5 million a year, I'll probably be saving on those guys. So we're going to have a tremendous amount of money to spend in the off season. And I know with upcoming free agents, there's a few that intrigue me if things play out with this, with out of the park baseball different than they do in real life. One right away is Freddie Freeman. So you got to hope that the AI here lets him go. I know that he's probably going to, oh man, I think, well, I don't know if I can, I don't know if it's, yeah, it's not going to show. What I'm trying to see is their salary demand. I think it's not going to show me until they become free agents. But I would love to have a chance at that guy if he's available. But you got, Freeman, Kershaw and Jansen. I think I would probably take a flyer there. But you got a few good players here. We're going to have to upgrade at shortstop. I like Baez. I like his defense and his power. There's some good guys here, I think, that I could pick up and automatically make this team better. But we just have to see who's available. Man, it'd be nice to see Corey Seager out there too. But that's what I'm liking about this team. That's one of the things I picked up on right away when I was looking at teams to try out this year. I do think that the personnel is something that I want to keep looking at this year too, to see how that works. And that first season that I had with Philadelphia, just playing through a test run, we had an ecstatic relationship from the staff, good cohesion there, and I think it may have played into us winning. I'm not 100% sure, but I was able to get Philadelphia to the playoffs. Excuse me, my voice is cracking. There we go. But this one, these guys are just content. And when I'm looking at the people that I could probably move who might make a difference, like we got one guy here who's controlling, and I know that there's at least, there's one guy who doesn't like controlling personality, but I'm just going to let it play out for this year. I do like Correa is a pretty good teacher, but that's the one thing, though, I wanted to highlight about the staff. In these teaching roles, again, I don't know how this, what's the algorithm or what's the code that's going to determine how much of a difference this will make. But we got some good coaches here when it comes to teaching, coaching and infield, or teaching catching and infielding and running. We got some really good coaches here. So I'm hoping that that's something that helps us out this year. We'll see. If it doesn't, then that's about as good as you're going to get. 2 legendary. That's the highest ratings in the game, I think, on skills. But that's the challenge I'm facing. And of course, we're in that National League West with the Dodgers and now San Diego improving. It's going to be really tough to get past those teams. But I'm going to try. I would really like. I would like it to be, like I say, a quick turnaround. I wouldn't mind getting this team to the World Series in 3 or 4 years. I think that would be doable if the talent is out there in free agency and I'm able to pick up some good key players and just build around them. So let's go ahead and take a look at the lineups and get started. A lot is going to determine, after this first month, for me anyway, how the lineup goes at some key places. Number one is first base. I mean, I like Brandon Belt. He's a good defender. He's gets, in good years anyway, he draws a lot of walks. He's got some decent power, but he is not the player he was, and it really shows with the ratings that he's got. He did have a good year, though, last year in that shortened season. But he's going to be up for free agency this year. And then I've got Flores, who is a little bit better rated in so many different ways, really. I love that contact. I mean, if I'm honest, like I said, I would rather have a high contact than high home run power. And he's a better defender by these ratings at first. And with his contract, I've got a really generous team option for him for next year. So he's one of these guys who I think, if he stays healthy, I would want to have on the team at least through next season. So I think if Belt starts to struggle, I'll probably pull the trigger earlier and move Flores into the full-time starter role at first. I do have him starting full-time against lefties, but you don't see as many lefties. So Belt is still going to get the majority of playing time at first. I'd really love, though, to get Flores, especially, look at those ratings against lefties. He's got to put up some good numbers there. And then I got a guy here, Austin Slater. I think he might have been, he was traded. No, he was drafted. Fairly high draft pick for the Giants. But he's got decent ratings, his eye discipline, gap power, good speed. He's the speediest player on the team. And speed is something I also like to be good at. I mean, I like to like setting the strategy for this guy. I'm going to put him up there, so that he's going to steal and run frequently. He's the only guy I can really feel comfortable doing that with. There's not much speed on this team, but I'm hesitant of where to put him. He's listed as a second baseman, but he's got good ratings at the corner outfield, I think. Let me see what his ratings look like fielding wise. Yeah, his range and error ratings are pretty good. They're above average. But I don't know if he's going to be more valuable off the bench because he plays so many positions, or if there's a place for him in the starting lineup. But I'm going to monitor that a little bit. If somebody like Solano or Dickerson, for instance, don't perform, I think Slater might be given a chance there. But for now, he's just going to be mainly a utility player. I think I've got him starting against lefties primarily at left field. But we'll see how that goes. Dickerson is another guy who I don't know what to do with because he's only rated position-wise at left field, and he's not a very strong outfielder by these ratings. And I just don't know how good he's going to be offensively. And he's got some arbitration years available. I think, he's in the green, on his individual offensive ratings, but I don't know if that's going to translate. We'll have to see. He's listed, as one of the better players, I guess, on the team after Yastrzemski, but I'm going to, monitor that situation. Like I say, I think Slater might be somebody I can work into the starting lineup if he starts playing well, and if Dickerson struggles. Shortstop, we're really thin, Crawford is still a very good defensive shortstop. I don't know what he's going to give you offensively. I'm probably just going to have to go with him for the most part through the season, but I don't really have a backup. LaStella, who's going to have to get most of the starts, I think, at third. He's not rated at shortstop, and Slater, even he's not rated at shortstop. So there's going to be some weird replacement type situations when Crawford gets injured, or not, well, when he gets injured, if he gets injured, but also if he just gets tired. I'm going to have to go with Dubon, who's the only other player who's got a true shortstop rating at that position as a backup, which will open up a spot in center for him. So a lot of holes in this lineup. I think the only one you can really kind of feel good about is Yastrzemski at right, and then I only think you can really feel good about him against right-handed pitchers. But I do hope that of all these guys, and look at the age too. I mean, only only three players in the 13 here in the roster are below 30. So I think that's something that's going to be a real big challenge for this team long term. How do you build those guys up when you got that kind of situation going on? Now on the pitching side, and I just saw like a hole there in the lineup. It bothers me. So on the pitching side, it's even worse. We've got three-star players, and one in Rogers. I'm just really concerned that he's not the guy I need as the closer, but he's the best option available. And then you've got some guys like Cueto. I don't know if he's going to be serviceable enough, but I'm going to have to hang on to him as much as I can, because if I let him go, I'm on the hook for that team option. I believe that's how that works. I could just try it. I'm never really clear on that. But let's say if I release player. No, they're saying I would just owe him the $21 million. We'll see how he plays out, though, because honestly, we don't really have anybody to put in that role right now. And I'll take a look at what AAA looks like before I move on. So I think Cueto's going to have to give us something. I don't think he's going to be this number 2 starter, though. But I do think Webb, even though I do not like his personality ratings, and he's probably going to clash with some guys on the team, he's just 24, and he does have, I think, some upside if he can just develop some of these individual ratings just a little bit better. I do think he's got 3 pretty strong pitches and a decent stamina for a starter. So he might be somebody, even Sanchez too, if they have decent seasons, like I say, they may be somebody to hang on to. Now, if I look at injuries in AAA, the only thing injury-wise, Alex Wood, a 3-star guy, I think he might be able to help out once he's off the injured list. And then there's a couple guys here, Tristan Beck and Sean, gosh, I should probably know how to say his name, but Shell, maybe, Shell. I know I'm probably not doing a good job with that, but those 2 guys are probably right now our best high-level pitching prospects. I do think Beck might have a chance at turning into something based on what my scouts showing for his ratings, but he's never pitched above high A. He's probably at the complex last year during that shortened season, but he's going to have to develop a little bit. Both these guys, they really need to see higher level competition before I'll be ready to move them up. And then on the batting side too, just to mention, I really hope Joey Bart in AAA, I hope he can develop a little bit, because with Posey out next season, this guy's defense is really good and his leadership qualities are great. He's a captain personality, which is rare, and those guys are really help a team out cohesion-wise. But he's back in AAA after getting most of the starts for him last season, and I just think he needs that development time, but I'm hoping he does, because he might be somebody that I have to put in there at catcher next year if I'm not able to get a good free agent signing. We also got Bailey, who's one of my better prospects, starting at Richmond. He was a number 1 draft pick in 2020, so he's starting really high. I don't know how he's going to do there, but he's another guy with good upside if he can meet the potential, but I don't think he's going to be ready next season. We'll just have to see. But that's what we're looking at. Let's go ahead and get some games out of the way. We start out on the road against Seattle. I feel like, I think that's all I wanted to show here. Usually I go with the preseason predictions, but those can be hit or miss. And since we're just starting out with this franchise, they got us at 70 wins. I'm not going to put a whole lot of stock into them yet. So let's keep going, sim through some games here. And I'm just going to do this day at a time, and then do like a recap, and then hopefully get through the first month. Usually I like to go through a season in maybe 3 episodes. Start out here at the start of the season, and then pick back up after the draft or around the All-Star break. This year the draft's going to be after the All-Star game or around the All-Star game, so I'll probably come back in June, sim to that. And then third episode will be September, and depending on if we get into the playoffs or not, then I'll move into the off season. But this first opener, man, that's a tough one. James Paxton no-hits us. Okay, I had to get a drink of water for that one. That's probably a sign of what we're up against. This offense is not, they're not rated really well. And, we got a couple of walks from Slater and Belt, and that was the offense. Gossman did not look good. I would probably move this guy if I could. I just don't know if anybody's going to take him on right now with that contract. And I would only move him for a prospect. I wouldn't want to take on, somebody who's like Will Smith, who's got a long-term contract going here, or any of these guys. Really, that would be primarily what I would get. I mean, Lamb, if I needed, extra corner infield help, I might go for somebody like that. But I think I'm going to be stuck with him. And I'm pretty sure he's not, well, I say that, but, you go down here to St. Louis and they got Elledge, who I don't think is going to be a starter based on that stamina rating, but I do like his ratings potential as a pitcher. So I could revisit that. Is he listed? No, he's not one of the top prospects. My scout thinks he's just an average reliever, but he could, gotta love that curveball there, rated at 75 already with a 80 potential. Yeah, I mean, just to get rid of that contract early, I wouldn't rule that out, but I think I want to see how the season goes a little bit first. So we lose again 1-6 in that second game. We did manage 4 hits, 2 from Solano, and then pitching wise, Cueto. I think that's what you're going to get from him with the ratings that he has. 6 runs in 5 2/3. So starting pitching just getting hammered right now. And then game 3, another shutout, 6-0, just 4 hits. We got 8 hits in 3 games. It's early, I know, but man, not a lot to feel good about. And Kikuchi, complete game shutout. Whew. So rough start to the season for sure. And now we go on the road against San Diego. So that's another thing. We start out with 6 games on the road. First game with San Diego, finally a 5-2 win. Did they go with Weathers here to start? They did. That's kind of interesting that they've got him as a starter. Maybe, I don't know if some injuries are happening right now with San Diego, but Flores 3 for 4, 2 RBIs. Webb, the pitcher, may have been, all things considered, the best offensive performer. He scored 2 runs. Only 1 home run from the starting lineup so far. Man, that's scary. But Webb, 7 strong innings. I do think, like I mentioned earlier, I don't like his personality, but I think this guy, if he develops, could be somebody who you could put in there that 4th or 5th spot and get some good production out of him. We lose game 2, 3-1. Crawford had a couple hits. On their side, looks like Myers is off to a strong start. Tatis looking good. Darvish, 6 2/3 just a run. Sanchez, he's out already, so we've already got an injury to deal with in the starting rotation, which we cannot afford. We just don't have the depth there. And then game 3, 2-6. Oh man, day-to-day injury. I'll take a look at that after I look at this game. So Solano, so he's hitting 300. Like I say, his contact rating is way up there. So he might be serviceable for this season. And you're going to hear me say that a lot. Serviceable. I think that's the kind of team I've got going here. And another bad outing from Gossman. 6 runs. So he's given up 6 runs in each of his starts. Bullpen, though, for what it's worth, has looked good. I mean, they pitched 4 shutout innings, 4+ shutout innings there. But Snell got the win. So if I in terms of this Sanchez error, I think I'm going to have to put him on the DL or IL. But I don't know what I want to bring up because, like I say, I really want Beck and Shell. I want those guys to get some time before I call them up. So I'm not going to do that yet. But I think this Tropiano here, who's played in the majors before, how many starts has he had in the majors? 39 starts. I'm going to give him a look, and it's possible he may fill in pretty well there for Sanchez. So now we've got our home opener against Colorado. They're off to a pretty poor start, 2-5. And we win game 1, 3-2, but took extra innings. Flores, 3 for 5. Dubon, off to a good start. Man, I would love to see this guy develop because it'd be nice to have somebody. He's also rated at second. That's interesting. But it'd be nice to have somebody to move forward with on this team. And then pitching-wise, Cueto, 9 innings, just 2 runs. That's a shocker. He does have great stamina. He's always been a guy. I remember when he played for Cincinnati and even early in San Francisco. If you look at his complete games, I think he was a guy who was, in the shutouts, he was a guy who just really took over a game. Complete games out, 5 for San Francisco in 2016, 4 in 2014. McGee got the win, though, in the extra innings. But I think I'm going to look at it quick. It's early, but how about that bullpen? Just a .42 ERA, first in the National League. But offense, we're dead last in just about everything except strikeouts. Stolen bases, we got 1. But at least we got a win there to start the series. Game 2, another good. This probably our strongest win, 6-2. Solano again with 3 hits, but man, not much offense. Dubon is really the best offensive performer so far in the season. And we got some hitters doing well. Here's DeSclafani with a couple hits. Belt hitting 250, which I would be okay with, but no home runs, no RBIs. And DeSclafani, strong outing, 8 1/3, just 1 run, a lot of pitches. And then final game, let's see if we can sweep them. We can't, 1-2. So we're not going to win with our offense. That's obvious at this point. But I do think Dubon, man, I liking what I'm seeing there from him. And Webb, not a bad outing. So 2 pretty good outings from him. And I don't know why I'm not seeing players of the week. I think this is something I was dealing with on a previous playthrough. Let me look at the news. Yeah, I gotta see that. So Josh Rojas, player of the week. I like seeing all those emails, and I thought I had it set up to do that, but let me double check. Yeah, it's supposed to show me that. I just, not sure why we're not seeing that, but hopefully that'll change. So 3-6 now. A little bit too early to look at standings. We're at home. I get Cincinnati for 3. Good win to open the series up 4-1, but again, it's offense. And didn't notice until now, but Yastrzemski is really struggling. Hit just 0.79. Dickerson's 0.77. I mean, these guys are not what I would consider, all-star type players, and I'm gonna have to start picking somebody up, I think, who gives me that. Gossman got his first win pretty solid, and again the bullpen looking good. And then game 2 against Cincinnati, a 9-0 shutout. Probably gonna see a lot of those. Dubon's still hitting though, 2 for 4. But man, he's been the offense for this team, and it's not much really to say. Tropiano, his first start wasn't too bad. The bullpen finally had some rough outings here. So now I'm starting to get those news. See, I like seeing that. Like Rizzo just signed for an extension with Chicago. I like keeping up with those kind of things. So here's the rubber game against Cincinnati. Tough loss, 3-4. Tommy LaStella was good, but man, these lines are killing me. Dubon is the only offense we got on this team right now. Cueto, another strong game from him. I don't know where he's getting it. On pace for 272 innings. That would be crazy. He's probably going to get injured. And Rogers really blew that one for Cueto. That should have been a win for him. So now we're going up against Miami on the road. They are playing 308, just a little bit below us. There's already some trades going on there with the Rockies and A's. Game 1, we lose 5-7. Yastrzemski, a couple hits. He finally gets something going. Belt still struggling. And then Flores, not playing much better. I think he needs more time, more play time. And DeSclafani had a rough outing. Game 2, 10-5. Our biggest offensive performance of the year. Dickerson, good game here. Scored 4, and then Dubon, 4 for 4. Drove in 3, scored 2. Wow. Even Crawford, who I haven't noticed him either, but he's hitting almost 300. And Webb may have gotten the win here, his second. Wasn't his best outing, but it's good that, he can have that kind of outing and still pick up a win. So now game 3, we lose 3-1. So Flores and Posey with a couple hits, but Dubon hitless here, and then Yastrzemski again off to a bad start. And Gossman wasn't bad here, but we need more offense. And now I'm getting those news in, so I'm going to look and see what we got. Trey Turner out, Strasburg out for 3 weeks. Greinke already at 4-0 for the year. Stars of the week, Jay Bruce, hitting 412 at New York. Jeff McNeil, man, he's hitting 469. Miguel Cabrera out for a while. And then team rankings, we're not all the way to the bottom, but we're pretty far. 5-10. Only the Rockies, man, at 3-13. And Washington, 5-11. Have worse records than us in the National League. You got Toronto off to a tough start. Dubon, though, had a 12-game hitting streak. That's how good he's been playing. But if I look at the team stats, the thing that's just killing me, 3 home runs, dead last. And I know I talked about that at the top of the episode about not caring too much about home runs over contact, but that doesn't look too good when your batting average is down there too. But surprisingly, we've got some good things here going on with pitching. Now, in terms of our pitching coach, I thought he was unproven. He's pretty new. He does work well with power pitchers. He favors prospects, which I like. He's good at handling development, teaching pitching. So, he's signed through 2023. I think all these coaches are signed. But, we'll through 2023. But I'm hoping that I get something positive out of this first year. That might be something to build on. I mean, he might be on his way to being a decent pitching coach. So now we got a tough task on the road against Philadelphia. We win the first one 8-7. Good offense here from this top of the lineup. Multiple hits from several players. Belt even had a couple hits. Yastrzemski, not a terrible line. Dickerson, pretty good from him too. And then Tropiano got the win, 10 Ks in seven innings. I'm wondering if he might be somebody I need to keep up here. I usually like comparing the head scout and OSA, especially if you got a pretty weak head scout, which I do at the moment. OSA doesn't like this guy as much, so I think Sanchez will be the best option when he comes back. Wheeler off to a bad start here too, 7.23 ERA. Game 2 against the Phillies, 3-4. Man, there's a lot of one-run losses so far this year. Dubon, a good game from him. He's up to 4 home runs. He was the offense once again. Cueto, not a bad outing from this guy. He has just been so unlucky. And Garcia, man, got to keep an eye on him. He's really looking bad. And now Game 3, can we win the series? We can't. So we lose 2-7. Longoria, he's been pretty ineffective in that platoon role. I think LaStella really needs to get most of the starts at third, even though I don't much like his defense at third. DeSclafani, pretty poor outing, but Crawford had 4 errors in this game, or was that just... No, he had 1 error. That was his 4th of the year, surely. Yeah. So now we're going to go up against Miami at home. Hopefully we can get something going, and we've got a trade proposal here already. I can't believe that, really. I don't know what on our team is going to be tradable, but they want Slater and Hayden King, who's way down there in rookie ball, hasn't pitched yet. My guess is Slater or Collins has some money on him. No, he's a young player, but I'm not really. OSA likes him, but I don't like his defense, so I'm going to pass on that one. And as far as Slater, what's he doing this year? Not much. He's really struggling. So now we got to go up against Miami with 4 games at home. And what am I going to do with Sanchez? Because here's the deal with Sanchez. I can't rehab him right now because of that weird situation with the minors this year. Not starting until late. And, Tropiano he's looked pretty good in his 2 outings. But I guess I'm going to have to try it. I do think Sanchez is rated just a little bit better, and hopefully he stays healthy, and that won't hurt him coming straight off the IL. So we win the first one 7-4. 4 hits from Belt. He needed that. He's still hitting under 300, or under 200, sorry. Dubon, 5th home run of the year. I didn't expect this guy to have power, but he's leading us in home runs. Webb, his 3rd win. good line from him. 6 innings, just 2 earned runs. On pace for 26 wins, for what it's worth. So he's looking good. He's probably comfortable in the 4th or 5th spot. He's probably getting good matchups. We win the second one, 8-3, and here's another dilemma. Alex Wood's ready. So what do we got here? Offensively, Yastrzemski, 3 hits. Dickerson, Slater, Dupont, Crawford hitting .313 right now. Man, I was worried about his offense, but he's looking pretty good. Sanchez is injured again. So that might, that's the struggle. I don't know, if I should leave these guys down until the minors start or just go with them. But, man, that sucks. So now Alex Wood really, I'm going to put him on a rehab just until I figure out what to do on the Sanchez injury. And we lose game 3, 6-1. LaStella's still hitting there at the top of the lineup, 354. But he was it offensively. Just a few other guys with some hits. Gossman looked bad. Man, I really wish I could get something for him because, I wouldn't mind having the extra money to go in the trading deadline just in case I can work out some kind of trade for somebody who might cost a little bit of money. Sanchez. I am getting some prospect offers. Like I say, I'm not really against that for the most part. I'd like to get somebody who's going to give me some help, though. A lot of 3-star guys. It's odd, Well, here's Seth Elledge again. Man, I'm so tempted on him because I just like his potential, and we need some good bullpen. Even though our bullpens look really good this year, we need some help there down the line. I don't like that his WAR is trending towards a negative though. What's the deal with this guy? His BABIP pretty low. His FIP is really high. I think I need more time from him to determine if he's up to those ratings. But it feels like I really need more offense now than pitching. So let's move ahead. And then we have a shutout here against Miami to end it. Solano, good game from him. Dickerson, he's starting to play pretty well. Crawford, again, 3 for 3 in this one. I'm surprised. Cueto got the win. He deserved it, man. 7 2/3 shutout innings with 8 Ks. So now Sanchez is going to be gone for 4 months. So that's going to give me room to put Alex Wood in there. Again, I don't like having to bring him up cold, but we'll see what he's got. And I think maybe I'll, DeSclafani is somebody who it might be chance or time to kind of move him around too. But Let's take a look at the standings. This may be where I ended here. Looking at the players of the week, Gurriel and Azuna. Kershaw, that's what I'm saying. I mean, I don't think I would have gone for him, especially not at the money. Yeah, with $20 million, I don't think I would have gone 4 years, 5 years for 20 on him. But Jansen also re-signed. Man, Los Angeles just has too much money right now. I'm just really hoping that some of these guys stay up and available free agents. So we're 9-13. We moved up to 18th overall. I do think that we're going to have a tough time playing much better than that. But, you know, if we could stay around 500, that'd be nice. I think when I was looking at the fan interest, it's still pretty good, you know, considering how we're struggling. But ticket sales are going down, so I don't want to lose out too much. But just look at that money. You know, the money is going to be, I think, incredible when we get to the off season. But now if I look at the upcoming prospect or upcoming free agents, Scherzer's still out there, but you notice who's not. Or no, this picture's, sorry. Freeman's still out there. Freeman's still there. Simeon is there, but I don't know. He's going to maybe demand a little bit more money than I want to give him. But there's still some guys here that are going to be, I think, young enough and good enough to help our team if they're still there. But I was hoping to get through May, but I think we'll just call it an episode here. What I'm going to do is send some more offline. I'll come back probably around June so that we can play through to the All-Star break, which this year is going to be, around the 11th. So I'll probably come back around the first year draft, and I might go through first few picks there in the draft on the next episode. If you look at where we're at, we're picking 14th. If you look at the draft pool, and this shows their overall potential, whether they're pitcher or not. I know it says pitching potential, but got a good-looking catcher here in Moeller. Leiter is probably going to be a high pick. Rocker. The mock draft, I think, is showing, last time I looked, it has us going Moeller. That's, I don't know if I'll do that. Even though this guy looks really good. If he's still there, he might be worth picking up, but we'll have to see. I'd probably like to get a good pitcher. You know, I like to build the pitching through. Specifically, I like to build pitching through the draft because it seems like pitchers are always getting injured, and it's really such a gamble putting a lot of money into a free agent pitcher. So I'd really rather develop pitchers in my system and go after the high dollar offensive guys when it comes to free agency. But we'll see how that plays out. But that'll do it for this episode. I'm glad to be back playing again. This is going to be a challenge. I know. I'm looking forward to it. And I appreciate the support of the channel, likes, subscribes, and comments I get from you guys. Let me know what you think of this pick, choosing San Francisco. Maybe give me some of your tips and strategies you use to turn this team around quick. I feel like I'm just kind of going to be treading water, just kind of playing out the games just to get to the off season when I can really do some big stuff. But that'll do it for this one. I'll see you in the next episode.